Listen, before I discovered booktube and the whole bookish world on YouTube, if you would have told me that people are still reading physical books, physical copies of books, it's a lie. I would have said it was a lie. Welcome everybody, my name is CHIOMA, aka Chi, and welcome to my corner of shame. It is called such because if you see behind me, I have all of the books that I cannot fit onto bookshelves underneath this here bench in my room. Oh, actually you can just see it from the regular picture, but you know, I am working on getting bookshelves to fit all of these books to return my room to its homeostasis, but for now, here we are. And today I want to talk about 2019 and the beginning of 2020, the 2 years or the year and a half where I only read ebooks. I did not pick up a physical copy of a book in over a year and a half, but I still read, I think in the year and a half, 150 books or something, you know, and that's because I read them all on my e-reader or my iPad. I didn't even really make the conscious decision that I was going to stop reading books. So I know there's like a lot of opinions, to put it lightly, or there's a lot of thoughts about ebooks and whether or not it's really reading, which is just really weird to me because I'm just like, if you're reading, then you're reading. I don't think the device matters. Like even me, someone who does not listen to audiobooks, someone who does not like audiobooks, I still consider that reading because it's a book. It's a book. That's the only criteria you need from me. If it's a book and you've got through the whole thing without having to use Spark Notes, you've read the book. That's my stance on that. No one asked, but you know. So I just want to give y'all the gist, give y'all a little heads up, give y'all my thoughts on the year and a half I went without reading books. The first thing, point blank period, I know this is not true in Canada, but point blank period in America is cheaper. It's cheaper. I am a grad student. I'm in college. It costs money. Everything costs money. Breathing on campus costs money. So books, my leisure, my love, my pastime, I had to cut that budget 75% of the way. And ebooks really allowed me to do that, especially with Kindle Unlimited. You pay $10 a month and you have so much books at your disposal. I probably spent 1/5, 1/8 of the amount I usually spend in a year on books in 2019, the first half of 2020, because I just was not buying physical copies of books. It's just cheaper on Kindle, on Nook. It's just all around usually cheaper to buy ebooks, and your girl saved money. Your girl saved up that coin. You know, tuition did not hurt my bank account as much as it would have if your girl was buying physical copies of books. So take that for what you will. Convenient. In high school or in like my first years of undergrad, I would just be carrying everything into my backpack. Let's not even start with my laptop, my charger, and my textbook. I would just carry all of my books because I needed something to procrastinate on while I was studying, and books was my drug of choice. So it was just so convenient to not have to carry all of that around campus and only carry this and have all of my to be read on this. So for the convenience factor, ebooks is winning. Ebooks is winning, honestly. Like if you're a college student, if you're a student in general, if you're a worker, if you're on a commute, if you have anything that you need to carry a big bag, ebooks is winning. That's just thesis. Okay, besides convenience factor, the cheapness, that is me. I think the book genre and book variety, or the easy access to all kinds of book genres and book varieties, was a big one for me. So you can pretty much sample any book that is available on Amazon, which is pretty much every single book that is published, as well as a lot of independent, as well as a lot of self-published authors. So all of those books that are on Amazon, you can sample like almost up to the first chapter of the books on your e-reader. So just if it's on Amazon, you can click send sample to e-reader and they'll send you a sample. You can try out every single book that is there. But this is really good for me for book genre variety and just kind of like book and publisher and perspective variety. So like me, I usually stick to like fantasy, sci-fi, paranormal, all of that. But because of like the easy access, like I never really see a contemporary book and be like, let me give it a shot, let me give it a chance, you know, everyone deserves a chance. That's not me. I don't think contemporary deserves a chance. But I think with Amazon sample thing and with the ability to just kind of like read the first chapter of almost every book, okay, it's not always the first chapter, sometimes it's just like the first 20 or so pages, but that ability allowed me to say like, okay, this is a cool contemporary. It's not what I usually read and I don't want to like, you know, blow $10 on it, but like let me sample it and read the first couple pages and see if it's something that I actually do want to buy. And I found that a lot of it was. I definitely read more contemporary and more mystery books than I read in my entire life, probably in 2019 and 2020, because I was able to sample them and see if I'd like them. Like I would have hated if I would have bought a mystery book, didn't like it, and that would just throw me off the genre for like the rest of my life. So I think for book genre variety, if you see a book and you don't know if it's something that you like, you don't want to like go to Barnes & Noble and sit down there and like read it for like a half an hour, you just want the convenience of just trying it out. This was really great for me as a reader. I discovered that like I really do like mystery, I do like suspense. Thriller and horror is kind of, I'm getting into it, I'm weeding into it. It's not like all there, but something I can try out. And contemporary, there's a lot of good contemporary out there. I know a lot of you already know that, but I am a skeptic, and I've been skeptical since I was born. So I really did not think that contemporary had anything to offer me personally. For like the pros, the convenience factor and the cheapness, my pockets really felt great in 2019, the first half of 2020. Now for the cons. My eyes hurt. My eyes were in pain. My eyes did not feel well every day because I was reading so much on a screen. No matter all the technology that iOS puts out, where you have blue light, black light, green light, black and white, do all these things that will like minimize the strain on your eyes on reading a screen for 20 hours a week. Yeah, it didn't help as much as you would think it would. Like my eyes really hurt when I'm on, especially like on the train. Like I'm looking at this pretty closely, not even like consciously. You don't really read a book like this far, like, and then like as things happen, it just gets closer and closer. I would literally be like this on the train reading, because like as things like speed up or as things hype up in the book, I don't know, you just subconsciously get closer to the electronic device, and that's not good for my eyes. And I didn't even realize the extra strain it has on your eyes until I got back into physical copies of books. And along with that, this made me a lot less likely to kind of marathon book. On BookTube it's called readathon, but to marathon books the way I used to. Like back in the day, I could go through book after book after book in one day, in a week. I could just keep reading. I can go through several chapters of a book in one sitting. I found that I did that less and less and less. I would have so many increments of reading throughout the day because I cannot just do this for over an hour. It's again something I didn't notice I didn't do until I started reading physical books again, that I could blow through a whole book. I could go through chapters, hours of reading and not feel like, oh, I gotta regroup myself. I can just really go. So that's something. If you're someone who likes to marathon books, and if you're someone who has eye problems or just honestly doesn't want to strain your eyes, I don't think that ebooks are the way to go if you're going to kind of like just replace all of your physical book reading with ebooks. Not for my eyes. This one's also kind of a big one for me, and something that I noticed again once I started reading physical copies of books, but lack of buy-in diversity. In 2019 and 2020, I think Jeff Bezos got 99.9% of my book buying money. I purchased solely Kindle books from Amazon, maybe one or two Nook books, but to get Nook book on Kindle, you have to convert it and it's a hassle. So I bought all of my books from Amazon. All of them, every single thing from Amazon. So I had a real lack of buying diversity, especially me, someone who like loves used bookstores. I did not. I don't remember a used bookstore in 2019. And if I went and sat and read on my e-reader, or I went and found a book and I took a picture of it. I would do this a lot. I would take a picture of a book in Barnes & Noble's or a used bookstore, and then I would go and look it up on Kindle. That was my extent of going to used bookstores, and I just felt like, wow, I have such a lack of buying diversity. There's so many independent used bookstores, there's so many independent published authors, so many secondhand places that I can spend my money on books that support people in like my community that I want to give my profits to, or I want them to have the profits of my book buying to. There's so many other things, but all of it went to Amazon. And no shade to anyone who buys all of their books, most of the books from Amazon. Just for me, I felt like that got old real quick. That got old. So that was one thing that was such a big thing, and I think that may be that in my eyes, but that may be the biggest reasons why I'm just like, yeah, I need to limit my ebook buying and go back to my roots, go back to like, you know, secondhand, used bookstores, online, in person. I need to go back to that because I feel like that's just a better way to spend my money, especially on books. And the last one, also one of the main, all of these cons, but one of the main cons in reading only ebooks for a year and a half that made me go back to buying physical copies of books is that I missed reading real books. People would ask me, don't you miss the physical feeling of a book? And I feel like the people who would always ask me that are people who didn't read. No tea, no shade, but if someone asked me that, I'm just like, when was the last time you read a physical book for you to come at me for reading an ebook. Sorry, it was a sore spot for me, but I miss that satisfaction of getting to the end. I miss the satisfaction of knowing how much longer you have. Like, I love the thought, like, you're at like the penultimate point, and then you see like, oh my gosh, there's only 2 more pages, like this, what's about to happen in like these rest of these pages. Like, I missed that. I also missed having books. So let's talk about consumerism in booktube. That is for another video that I'm actually going to kind of give some unpopular opinions on my take on consumerism in just like the book world, not really in booktube. But I miss having all of my books, like having them at my access and like seeing them, and then just like getting a book and just reading your favorite chapter, then putting it back and displaying them. I miss it. I collect books. I love having books. I miss that. I miss that. So because of all of those reasons, I am now back to buying real books from used stores, from secondhand stores, also some from Barnes & Noble, and I love it. I still do read on my e-reader. I would say it was in 2019, it was literally 100% e-reader and ebook. I'd say right now I am 70-30, so 70 physical book and 30 ebook, and I like that ratio. That's where I want to stay. So I think I'm going to stay because that's where I am happiest. That's where my eyes are happiest. That's where I can still kind of genre hop and get that benefit, but I'm not solely reading on one platform. So that was a lot of talking I just did. So that is it about my year and a half only reading ebooks. Let me know what you think about ebooks. Let me know if you'd ever go a year or more only reading ebooks, if you could ever give up physical copies of a book. And thank you for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.